wallahi ba dere yankira na kuro na ide lo to le akanga ba le alkela lan kaunge nang harif kanga dora na lo kumba kanal sike ko anker kanga lan ke ko le men tagake
Awa is a refugee living in Tel Aviv. She and her daughters are from Darfur, a region in Sudan that's been devastated by war for the past 2 decades. Although Israel is a signatory in the UN's 1951 Refugee Convention, asylum applications in the country are almost never granted.
The refugees who enter to Israel, they face in the beginning a lot of problems, like no one taking care of them. They don't know about the policy of the country. They don't know the language. They face lack of different things which they can't figure it out in the beginning.
Instead, asylum seekers in Israel face a patchwork of laws that restrict their status and encourage them to return to their home countries. There was an influx of asylum seekers coming to Israel between 2006 and 2012. Most are from Eritrea, Sudan, and Ethiopia. Estimates vary, but roughly 35,000 remain, the vast majority in South Tel Aviv. Activists and NGOs accuse the Israeli government of working against these communities and trying to make their life difficult enough that they eventually leave.
عشان نكسين علينا كونغو 7 يوم في رمضان كمان ولا كلا كان أبا ولا كراكين والله حدود لا رهاسي لنا سنة بخيتو كيال كانا كده عنده فنزي 40 نفر كانا خيتو كريكي سلام نال ديو كريكو استقبل ان جمال جسكاي كتاب هني ديال كري 40 نفر كانا نما كيل انا لإسرائيل ديو كري توليس استقبل ان كاوي كين جيشا نما كيل نسي دي سرونيم شهر سيكونا بشهر نما ينا كرون ناسي نقول تلبيبو.
For years, the Israeli government has placed asylum seekers in jail when they enter the country. They're eventually released, but with limited work options, no ability to leave unless they return to their home country, and no path to citizenship. This detention process was based on the law that labels asylum seekers infiltrators, a term used by politicians in recent years to refer to these communities. In 2014, Israel built a fence along the Egyptian border, which dramatically cut the number of asylum seekers who were able to make it into the country. Since this made Israel practically impossible to reach by foot, authorities closed one of the largest detention facilities. An Israeli NGO report in 2021 showed there was a drop in the number of asylum seekers detained in recent years, but the process still occurs, and even has led to children being held for long periods of time.
طبعا قال أبو يعني كاغو مبسوطة لكن عشان نكوين على سكري وندي لأنه ولا سالم بيين عايشة عايشة جبا ولا أي تلفون أسكين بتبع يعني أمرتا نينا لام باسلان كاي تكوين دوغلان كيا في أقول لكن مران كوين على إسكالان سوما.
The NGO report also found that nearly 35,000 asylum applications remain undecided by the Israeli government.
لا لك أي مساعدة ولا حد الآن شو كبار جسايدن بياسن. لأنه من كلنا كريكا نماندوين كوينسي أري ده باسان يسجين كيانا ألغى الكورونا إلا اللي أنا ما الناس ودونا كرنا تبوكيرا أنا ما ويا الكورونا يعنى يجون دكي دوغلا لكن كلام تي مساعدة موبايل لكان دوين مساعدة تاريخ كي مساعدة موبايل عشان نكا قواس المي يبيني.
Some of people, they don't have any background about Israel and what is Israel. They thought like Israel also, it's a freedom country, like taking care of the human being to can live as free. They can save them from the war.
Between 2017 and 2020, the Israeli government upheld a controversial law that required asylum seekers to deposit 20% of their income into a bank account that they could only access once they leave to return to their home country.
ka kasatan tare lole ala arseli tare ila ngundi la no na ka shahar kamil tare ko ingir sa talata undula shidda da shirin filmi ana ka biya ashan nas ka biza an ale mete biyo mun balange saiden biashan amen yo zailonga kamle yo ba sen kama lolo amen se tude zui da ngalange kawiya lakin ki biza ange kawiya na al corona ela kan aninga sunga shan na duwa ke abange saiden biane wallahi majbura ngalanga shan na duwa ke ba shan kira nas ko inge kala zam nang tarenga wa wala is bas alang ko ndo gala rabbenga.
The deposit law, it's one kind of like, to make people also stressful, like to push them or to leave Israel, to leave them to go back home. So people, they face a lot of problem here, how they can pay for their rent, for the kids' needs. Many people, they decide to go back home, but there is no chance like inside Israel here.
Israel's Supreme Court ruled in 2020 that this law was unconstitutional and that the money should be returned to the people. The reports show some money was supposedly lost, never reaching the government, so it couldn't be returned to the workers.
Asan kadeng warung soro masongai we shanna ko ingalaila kai nang doing suriyal kasi dele kering yani hatta ten kajaro gubaru na dinga anju mamba den soro masongai we la kan marang teriga ke bashanna harib na la na ka ngo balaken mutman ya ngalang ka wallahi ela se Asylum ba lakin mutman ne sangalang ke kani ana ko ingadale amuna gitu